Oh,
Thanks,
wait
sir.
a minute. There's
On mine,
something down here.
it's on the lower left.
Mine too.
Lower left. It
Yeah, see,
says sunny 64 degrees with a 1 on it.
I don't think that's part of Zoom.
Yeah. Jack, we'll have to troubleshoot this some other time. You can poke around
Yeah.
in the meantime.
There's a microphone here on the right.
Mm-hmm.
There's no
Yeah, it
line through it.
should be
It's
right.
To the
blue.
right of that.
Wait a minute. Huh? On the right, yeah. On.
All right. Well, Jack, I'll let you
The
work on
microphone
that.
here on the right.
In the meantime, welcome everyone. Thanks for dropping by. We've got a fantastic slideshow tonight. I'm expecting a few more people. For our regulars who are here tonight, let's see. We're not going to have Tor with us. He picked up a shift and he needs all the shifts he can get. So we'll see him hopefully next week. I do have a few announcements to make, but first, let me put our meeting links in the chat. These are links. Most of us already have these. These are links to our YouTube streams and whatnot. One thing I do want to share, and I'm going to share my screen right now. And there we go.
Yeah, I think I just did it. Oops. Yeah, okay.
Oh, let's see. There you are. Great, Jack.
Yeah, Jack,
You
you
look
succeeded.
fantastic. All right. If you are following along with me on Zoom, I'm sharing my screen right now, and you can see the same thing on our YouTube streams. I wanted to point out that I'm trying a new slideshow poll program tonight. It works just like straw poll, which is what we have been using. Each of us will select our top 3 stereo photos, as we always do. The difference is that this works well on a phone or a tablet as well as a computer. And there's even a Zoom app, which could be installed so you could make your selections directly from Zoom. And I'll share information about that later if this works out. This is kind of a trial run. But what I'm doing tonight is I'm just following along with the competition on my phone here. And if you want to do the same thing, there's a QR code which you can access with your smartphone or tablet camera. And there's also a link down there also. This link is also in the chat, and I'll throw it up on the screen at the end of the slideshow. But if you'd like, you can get a head start and start making your selections during the slideshow. And we'll give this a try. It's got some other features that look very promising if this doesn't blow up on us tonight. That said, before we start our slideshow, does anyone have anything they would like to announce or share? Sounds like we're ready to jump in. All right. Let me just share my screen again.
Is that poll everywhere? Is that the name of the app that you're talking?
Poll Everywhere, yes, is the name of the the service.
Okay, well, I'll try installing it, see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's very promising. It, you know, it I really want to make these polls more convenient, more accessible, and I think this has a lot of promise. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Has anybody heard about anything going on as far as the PSA competition going this year?
I have not. Have you checked their website?
I can say some things about that.
Oh yes, Lee, take it away.
Okay, it is due about a month from now. And I hate to say there's 14 pages of regulations. I do not like it at all. I don't like the way it's set up. There are supposed to be 3 digital and 3 print stereo cards. I think you have to send digital as well as print for the print ones. There's a bunch of weird titles. Read it on the website.
Well, what about just a regular stereo international competition?
This is the PSA 3D International Exhibition, the one sponsored by PSA.
Okay. Well, how about like we used to run one ourselves, and there was at least
Yes.
they've done the Southern Cross. It's the only one that's been done this year, right?
That's the only one I think has been done already. More are scheduled for this year. Hollywood plans one.
Cascade is working on it.
Okay.
We hope to do it in November, as we have in the past.
Okay.
The PSA expects you to submit your application for PSA recognition 6 months prior to when you want to do the exhibition. Since we want to do it in November, we're working on the application now in May, 6 months in advance.
Okay. So there's probably going to be at least 2 or 3 more before the end of the year.
I would expect so.
Yes.
Okay.
I just put the link to the 2024 PSA Annual 3D Division Exhibition. That's a mouthful, in the chat. So there's a link to that to get the information. And thank you, Lee, for sharing that.
And I hope everyone else does a better job of making your rules than that one is.
Okay. With that warning, thank you. Yes. I'm looking at it. It closes June 10th. So, yeah, we've got a month. Judging is June 22nd through... this looks a little odd. Judging is in the end of June, and the report cards will be issued June 27th.
That's the PSA one.
That's the PSA one, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Incidentally, I'd love to get the Oakland International back off the ground. I would need at least 2, preferably 3 dedicated volunteers. It's a huge job, so if anyone is ever interested, reach out to me and let me know. We don't have to make that decision tonight. All right, thanks, Jack. And Oleg, I think I saw you pop in. Welcome.
Yes, I'm here.
All right. What do you say we get started with our slideshow? We are currently streaming. And I am sharing my screen as well. Our first image is by Jay. It's a native stereo photo. The title is Swing. Jay, tell us about
this is with the room pad. Went to a company picnic last Friday and got lucky with capturing the action. Yeah, just a bit disappointed how the highlights are handled.
Well, I think this one is fantastic, and great synchronization, of course.
Yeah, I mean, the room's rock solid with the alignment and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it did a great job of capturing some fast action.
Yeah. Yeah, it was near sunset, so had good light.
Perfect light, and it's great that we've got both of their faces too and their expressions. That makes
Yeah.
it so much more intimate. And all of those weeds and wildflowers, that sure would be a challenge to convert.
Hmm.
And what did everyone think of the loom pad?
The loom pad is great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, at the picnic, they were blown away. I think one parent's going to use it to get their kid to do chores.
That's a great use case for it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you,
Oh,
Jim.
and
Oh, yeah.
I piloted Taylor Swift's concert, which did the 3D conversion, and that was really popular.
Was that the video or the movie?
Yeah, the movie.
The movie.
I was able to download it and did a good conversion, and all the girls were just blown away.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Jay.
So,
Oleg, we've got one by you coming up next, and the title is Kite Festival at Santa Barbara.
Yeah, this was last month. I was there only for the beginning, so this is about the only shot I got of kites. But I had another appointment, so that's all I got.
Yeah, I think it could probably use more kites.
Yeah, I'm going there next year. I'll sit through the whole thing.
You know, there's one in Berkeley, right?
I've never been to that one.
Yeah, it's really well. I mean, it's close to where we used to meet. It's in the Berkeley Marina, and boy, do they have a lot of kites, and they're big. They have like giant octopus kite, and actually, I've got a bunch of 3D pictures of I used to every year take my kids there. You guys should check it out. I recommend though, if you're going to go take public transportation, they have a shuttle bus that goes there because there's just too many cars to fit in that little marina.
yeah,
I'm not
Yeah.
sure if Berkeley has
This-
that festival anymore.
yeah, there was an issue with insurance for
Right.
city fees.
Oh well.
Isn't that
that's too
terrible?
bad.
Berkeley Kite Festival canceled. Well, yeah, it looks like the last news about it was in 2022. Canceled.
I thought that was just for COVID. I thought it was coming back.
Yeah, Reddit saying it's been terminated.
Yeah. How sad.
And the guy who ran it is running for state senate.
He's too busy for kites now.
Yeah.
I know that we've exhibited stereo photos from that event in the past, and I recall some effective hypers, and I recall some so-so standard stereo photos, because there's not a whole lot happening on the ground. Everything is kind of in the sky.
Well, we can have our own kite festival.
Yes. I've got a kite.
I do too.
Right. Well, yeah, let's go to Chrissy Field and make it happen.
Or we could go to the East Bay. We got lots of land next to water, which is ideal for kites.
Yeah, yeah.
And Costco has a good sale on kites right now.
I think maybe we should make this happen. Thank you, Oleg.
So just a comment. I
Yes.
have poll everywhere open up in Zoom, and it says waiting for host. Now I
Oh.
can do it on the the website, but I just wanted to let you know that as far as Zoom is concerned, it's waiting for you to open it.
Thanks. I know there's an app I have to run on my end here. Let me see if I can.
And don't take a lot of time. I just wanted to make sure you knew if you didn't already.
Thank you. Thank you very much. In the meantime, let's enjoy this photo. Steve, I think this is yours. Nature area sunset. This is a native stereo photo.
This is my yes, this is my photo. It's in my neighborhood. Down the street, there's this little preserve, and there are some nice trails there. And so I took my camera out one day near sunset, and I got some pictures. This one came out. Most of the land came out kind of black, and then I used the raw adjustment in Affinity to bring the detail back. So I mean, the tree and the land that's to the left, the sort of triangle there is what all of everything that was land looked like. There was visible water, but everything else was pretty black, and then so I was able to bring some detail back. So I was kind of happy that I could do that.
I think this one is absolutely beautiful. The blackness and the darkness works fine, and it's not a lot of fantastic color in the whole thing, but the whole thing just works out perfectly, I think.
Oh, thanks very much.
One thing I would like to see is some detail in the shadows. Was there any available?
I couldn't get that to look good. I've got another one coming up where I think I was more successful in getting the shadow detail to come up.
Such a beautiful natural scene. One thing I would probably do, and it would be easy to do, is take out that sign on the right side.
Oh, yeah. I guess I could do that.
Be easy.
Yeah, maybe it's some species of tree we're just not familiar with here.
Yeah,
Termites.
I think the regimented holes in the metal stand there kind of give it away. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think it would work. I think it would work. I kind of like the composition, but I'm picturing it because I didn't try it. I think you're right. I think that would look okay. And thanks for the suggestion.
This would probably do pretty well in like a landscape theme competition.
I think there ought to be a category of stereo shots called missing in mono. And that is an image that just doesn't make any sense or just doesn't have anything compelling in it unless you see it in stereo. And I think this is one of those where you look into the tree. If you just look at the single side-by-side image, there's absolutely no beauty in that tree until you see it in stereo, and then it really, really comes alive. And I think those are some of the most enjoyable stereo shots, I think.
That's a great point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Matt's pointed out several photos in various meetings, that very topic of, it's just a mess. Pictures that you can't even make out what you're looking at until you see it in 3D, which, I think is one of the part of the fascination of 3D.
Yeah, I think a stereo photo deserves bonus points if it's a composition that really only works in stereo that way, because it's like a discovery.
Yeah, that's actually one of the problems with 3D movies, is they have to work both. It's a requirement,
Right.
which severely limits what you can do. I think about, like, a lot of filmmakers take advantage of color or how they use the sound because they know that everyone's going to see it that way. Although there was a time when, you had to be careful about, because I used to make commercials at a time when people did have black and white TVs. So we had to look at it on a black and white TV to see, is this going to read? How is this going to look? Because, like a bright red comes out as black. It's not always what you want.
I consider most modern 3D movies to really be more like 2.5D movies, because they can't go all out 3D. Most people will see it in 2D, and
I think Hugo works pretty well in both. But you're right. Yeah, you can't go all out. What was that film? How Goodbye to Memory or something?
Goodbye to Language.
Goodbye to Language, which they only would show it in 3D.
Let's see, where is that? Here it is. Yes. Goodbye to Language. If you can see me, I'm sharing my screen right now. But yeah, that's one that you'd be even more confused if you saw it in 2D. All right, thank you, Steve.
Thanks, everybody.
Coming up next is one by me. And the title is in the image. This is Richmond Fire Station number 1. A couple things about this. I took this in Point Richmond, where we had our last in-person event, which was more than a year ago now. And I was pretty lucky with this, I feel. It's a bit hyper. I moved my cameras a bit farther apart because I had to stand back a little bit. And I was really happy with the way the light is reflecting on that station sign. And it was a beautiful day. And what can I say? It is what it is. Thank you.
It's a great capturing of action. And it's not something you see every day, cleaning, especially with the part of the fire truck tilted up, the front of it. I think that's pretty cool. If you hadn't told me, I don't think I would have realized it was hyper.
Just a little bit hyper.
It's good that you can do that.
I've found that firefighters like this, I mean, I've never asked them while fighting a fire, but they're generally very accommodating. And when I first walked up on the scene, they saw me, and they both jumped off the truck, thinking I wanted a photo of the truck without them. And I didn't want to tell them to get back to work, so I kind of just walked around the block and snuck back up on them and caught him from the other side. So the light wasn't quite as flattering as it was when I initially approached them, but it's good enough.
Maybe they thought you were making a calendar.
Maybe so. I think, they must get people asking for their photographs all the time.
What you could have done in that situation is accommodated them taking a photo and then just hung around till they got back on the truck.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't really want to loiter. I didn't want to hold them up also. I felt bad. But I was able to sneak up on them. All right, thank you. Next, we have one by Jack. This is a native, I'm guessing a cha-cha. Succulent Garden is the title.
Yeah, this is just some of my front yard gardens that were kind of blooming kind of nice. So you can tell I'm not doing much traveling lately.
It's very, very much through the window.
Yeah,
And it's a bit hyper,
a little
too.
bit, probably too much too.
Yeah, it's a great subject, but it's rather hard to view.
It seems almost hyper.
Yeah. Jack, I am going to ask that you try this one again, since I know you don't have to go very far to take it.
Mm-hmm.
But do it before those blossoms drop.
It's funny, I paid somebody to do a lot of weeding for me and get all that stuff out, and I didn't let them go into that stuff, but where they were weeding, you see the purple flowers.
Uh-huh.
I'd always considered those weeds, and but they decided they weren't weeds, and so they left them there. And after they left them all there, I'm thinking, hey, they look pretty good. I think those are flowers in my garden now.
They knew better. Those flowers have been trying to bloom for years, and you wouldn't let them.
But they're a very common plant. You see them every place.
They probably are weeds. They're just native weeds with beautiful, beautiful blossoms.
Well, the definition of a weed is a plant that's growing on somebody's property that the owner doesn't want growing there. There isn't any other definition.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you, Jack. Oleg, we have one of yours up on the screens right now.
If you do it, don't you take, okay, if you open it.
Okay, we had a bit of an interruption there. Oleg, we are looking at Arizona Desert at the Hillview Estates.
Yeah, this is where my brother lives now. He left the Sierras because there was too much snow up there, and now he's very happy living in Southern California. But I had trouble doing any photography there. The scenery in the mountains is ugly, and I couldn't. There was no flowers at all. At least no blooming flowers. So it was kind of a waste of a trip.
Well, you got to see your brother, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I have a question about this one. It appears that the image of the landscape is actually in 3D as well. How could that be?
Oh, I did that.
I love that idea. The truck itself is in 3D. Marvelous idea. Great idea.
Yeah.
You mean the image on the truck is in 3D?
Yeah.
Oleg's done this often enough that as soon as it came up, I knew it was one of his.
In fact, it could have been a totally flat picture and only the truck is 3D. The picture in the truck.
That would be interesting.
So how do you categorize this one? It wouldn't be completely native, would it?
I would classify it as native. Maybe I might go so far myself as to say it's a creative but in my
It's a
opinion, and there's probably some dissenting voices out there, I would say there's enough photographic information in this stereo photo to classify it as native. What do you guys think?
It's a hybrid to me. I would say that the most interesting depth is the part that Oleg created. Because the street, I mean, there's plenty of depth in it, but it's kind of boring. But, you know, the desert is great.
I guess I don't understand the definition of native, really. I thought that non-native meant that you did it with a camera or with that, actually converted it mechanically. Are you saying that any creative you do is a non-native by definition?
I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying that while there are creative elements in this photo, I would call this a native stereo photo, as opposed to a conversion. Even though there is a conversion here, the photo isn't 100% converted. That's my definition.
Yeah,
What if the only thing in the picture was the truck and nothing else, and it looked like that? It was obviously a creative. You call that non-native?
I would call anything that was converted from a 2D photo to be a non-native, to be a conversion. In this case,
Even if you just do it all in Photoshop, huh?
Or in a conversion app like Leapix, which is a great segue to a reminder that this week, on Thursday, Peter Sinclair, who's with us tonight, will be giving a demonstration of his workflow for converting 2D photos. And we've all seen his work. So I hope you can make it. I'm sure this conversation will continue in that meeting.
Did you put a link for that?
Steve, did you say something? I missed that.
Did you put a link for where we would take part in that or see that?
It will be our regular meeting link, and I'll be sending out a reminder, and I will put the link on the website also. It's actually already there.
Oh, so it's our regular meeting. Yeah,
It'll
next
be
week.
like a regular meeting. Yeah, it'll just be on Thursday. But it'll be over Zoom, and the link will be made available. So if you don't get it in your inbox by Thursday at 7 p.m., go to our website at ggstereo.org, and it'll be there on the homepage.
Good.
Oleg, you did the conversion of the artwork on the back of this truck by hand, I'm guessing, right?
Right. It was pretty simple.
Yeah, I think it's an excellent job.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a nice contrast here too, sort of the gloomy, rather repetitive neighborhood that's the location of this photo, and then that exotic landscape on the back of the truck. Very nice. Thank you, Oleg. Coming up next is another one of mine. This is also from Point Richmond. This is just actually a few steps away from the fire department. This is the Up and Under. Some of us may be familiar with it, and I was really just walking by and snapped this and didn't really see the results until I got home. And I thought this one was a lot of fun. I did have to adjust the shadows a bit on the interior in order to make it a little more clear. But I really liked being able to look down the sight lines, the 3 sight lines in this photo, and kind of explore. And this is pretty much how it came out of the camera. I just had to rotate it a little bit and a little bit of alignment.
Can you tell us why the building is so oddly shaped?
It's a corner building. Point Richmond is sort of a village. It's the original city of Richmond, which is where I live. And Point Richmond was sort of the pre-World War II downtown Richmond. So it was built over 100 years ago. And a lot of those original buildings are still standing, and some of them have some rather odd architecture, including this one. But we are on a corner, and it's not a 90-degree corner. It's maybe a 30-degree corner, and that's why you can see down the 2 sides of the building.
So the building was probably put up after the streets had already been in place for a number of years.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
This is actually a very interesting corner. If you're a rail fan, there's a railroad that runs down the street a couple times a day, blocks traffic. Point Richmond was an interesting place historically. In the 60s, it was sort of like Haight-Ashbury, but more for the Hells Angels, not so much for the hippies. So it's got a colorful past, and I think this photo kind of captures that too.
I think this is a great one. I love the lines, the handrail. Leading you in, and even the cornerstones or the angular stones are all kind of pointing toward the center. And I'm pretty amazed. I mean, looks at by the shadows, it looks like it was a really bright sunny day, but then it looks like it was much darker inside. So I think you did a really great job of balancing that.
Yeah, thanks. I have to credit my Sony RX02s, those little cameras that I shoot with, which there's this, they've got a RAW format that just captures way more information than you can see. And when I got these out of the cameras, I could see the white t-shirt and the white socks of the figure who's sitting there. I couldn't see much else, but I just tapping that shadow slider in the camera raw filter in Photoshop just brought all of this information out. And I could have made it as bright as the rest of the scene, but I wanted to keep it kind of mysterious. So I just tapped it up a little bit. But they're amazing cameras. I think I was shooting with my exposure stop down maybe half a stop or something like that to get those blue skies.
I always liked Point Richmond. I think I jogged every other day for 32 years there.
Well, that's right, because you had a career at Chevron, and that's the home of the Chevron refinery.
And Chevron Research.
And Chevron Research, thank you, yeah. Point Richmond is a
I
refinery
worked there
town.
too.
So did I.
Matt?
Not at Chevron, but very close to Chevron was where Pixar was in the early days.
That's right, I worked in that building. There was Pixar graffiti all over the place. Seriously.
That's hard to keep those artists down.
Are you getting photobombed by a pigeon down the lower right?
Hey, Robert, glad you could join us. That is actually a statue,
I thought so.
yeah. I thought about like cloning it out, and I was it sort of defined how I could align this horizontally because it's right there on the edge, right there in the foreground. But I thought, I'll just leave it there.
I
That's
like
how
it.
is.
And it's got its own little triangle space to live in.
That's true. Yeah, its own.
So he's not
shaft of
distracting. I mean, I was just enjoying the shot, loved the depth, and then just noticed him over in the corner there, kind of looking at you.
light. Yes, thank you. There's a lot to explore in this one. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Let's move on. This one is by Jay. And the title is Passengers. For those who are following along on our YouTube streams, it'll just take 10 seconds or so to pop up. So Jay, whenever you're ready, tell us about this.
We went to the Western Railroad Museum a couple of weeks ago, and there was this costume group. They just dress in those costumes and visit places. So it's just by coincidence that we were on the same train as them. And one was really surprised that she could make pictures now for her Victorian stereoscope. Now I showed it how to do it with a cell phone.
Did she have a stereoscope with her?
Well, to use a cell phone, and then the two pictures could go on her stereoscope.
Sure.
Yeah. Or make prints. Yeah. So, just very happy to see 3D pictures. Yeah. Hey, that's it. Also, layer pad.
Yeah, the exposure is much better in this one. I think they're in softer light, and the
yeah,
swing.
it's almost indoors.
Well, this is a much better stereo photo than I got out of my trip to the Western Railroad Museum. This one's got a lot of personality, and this is, well, I know you have more to show us tonight, but so far of the two you've shown us, you've got great faces, great personalities.
Yeah, I told Catherine it's amazing being able to come up with entries when I actually leave the house.
Just kind of happens organically.
Yeah.
I think this kind of mid shot, which is also kind of the composition that you had for swing, is really what the loom pad excels at. That's what it's really designed for. That's what the camera spacing is for. I think this has got just enough depth.
It's looking great on the loom pad. The only nit I would pick would be on the left chip, where the ear would be on the woman holding the umbrella. There's an anomaly there that would be easy to remove. In minor stuff, I love the shot, but I just thought this.
Yeah, it looks like it's just a bit of a reflection off the train car behind her.
Yeah, it's in one image, not in the other.
Yeah, you can just dodge that or paint it out.
Because she's such a great character, your eye goes to her.
Yeah. I guess that could be, dimmed down.
You might want to consider painting out the person in the background holding the yellow parasol, sort of facing the wall.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like the pigeon, though. I like that she reflects the woman with the parasol in front. So
Fair enough.
it's kind of very Magritte-like to have her back there.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, right to the right of them, there's a few other people I cropped out.
Jay, did you have to do much horizontal adjustment to align it to the window for this one?
Yeah, just straight out. It wasn't too great.
Yeah, I think you adjusted it very well. Looks great on the loom pad.
Yeah, it looks fabulous. Reminds me of Some Like It Hot. I think Tony Curtis's outfit. That second woman on the left.
And Jay, what did you do to get their reaction? Did you?
I didn't tell them I was taking a picture.
Okay.
You know, they were just like getting ready, and their actual poses were not as good.
Yeah, this one's very natural. Especially the woman on the right. You can't fake that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Jay. All right. Oleg, we have one by you coming up next. The title is Baseball at Simi Valley.
Yeah, my brother's best friend lives in Simi Valley. Went for a hike with him. There was not much to photograph, but then I found this place was a dog park, but it has a baseball field as part of it. I like the way the canopy reflects above and below.
Yeah, it's a nice shadow. Oleg, do you ever adjust the distance between your cameras, your lens spacing for a photo like this, or do you keep them at a fixed distance?
I use a tripod with a slide bar, and I slide the thing usually about eye spacing, but then I have three different, because it's three stereo pairs, or two stereo pairs, have three different choices as to how much depth to use.
But you're not saying that this was taken with a single camera on a slide bar.
Yes.
Really?
Well, hang on. Let me think about that.
Yeah, I see there's a lot of movement in this. I can't imagine everyone was standing still.
No, you're right. This one was taken with 6 inches stereo base.
6 inch, yeah.
And two cameras.
Well, yeah, two cameras on a rig.
And I see you've got some color matching happening here with the green and the canopy and the hills, and I see a lot of yellows and reds. Did you do any color correction or color changes?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's the most fun I have.
Let's see. I think you were talking about your four-dimensional photos regarding color. It seems like that's
Yeah.
something you're doing a lot now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Oleg. Jay, I've got one by you coming up next. And Moo is the title.
Yeah, it's a state park about an hour and a half from here, past Marin County. And yeah, just a bunch of cows, and kept taking pictures till I found a happy one. Again, loom pad. Sort of wish I had a W3 for the shot, but
did you show the cows the loom pad after?
Can they see stereo?
Yeah, their eyes are so far apart. I'm not sure if they would be able to perceive it.
Yeah, this.
That would be an interesting experiment. A headset for cows.
They must
Yeah.
see stereo. Otherwise, those Texas gates would not work.
How's that?
You know, in order, the cows don't want to break their legs in the damn things.
So they must
They
be
need
able to
to-
see through
they
those
need-
grates. Who out there is still shooting with the W3? I'm curious.
I still use a W3.
All right.
Not all the time, but you know.
That's my main camera. In fact, I think all three pictures that I submitted for today are from the W3. Okay, I was just checking because they could have been cha-chas, but I'm pretty sure they were W3s.
So I like the red hydrogen 1 for anything that's close.
Mm-hmm.
And then the W3 for anything not close.
Yeah. Yeah, if I go back, I'll probably bring a W3 with a fill flash, which definitely help with the sunlight.
Yeah. I was disappointed to learn that there's no way to synchronize a flash with my Sony RXO cameras. It's just not feasible, not supported. I think that takes something away from photography. And it's got me missing my W3. I still have mine, but I wore it out. I'm seriously considering buying a new old stock W3. For all the gripes that I have about it, it fits in your pocket. It's a great, it's a good digital stereo camera.
I like that cow with the price tag on the ear. If I had $3,027, I'd grab it.
Maybe it's just $30.27.
Oh, that's even better.
Well, the loom pad exposed the sky pretty nicely. It does what it can. But it's got good sharpness, and there's really nice texture on the cows. Their hides do show some detail.
Yeah, the white cows just were burned out.
Yeah. Fortunately, she's back there. She's a nice contrast. And you got some nice wildflowers out there too. I'm sure if you went out there a month later, it'd be all golden. All right. Thank you, Jay.
You know, I was thinking just today,
Uh-huh.
because Leopix can take a flat picture and interpret how the 3D would work, wouldn't it be much more effective if you gave it two pictures from, like, even if it wasn't the right separation? It should be able to take that, interpret it, and then change the parallax. It's got so much more effective information for 3D. You should be able to give two pictures to Leopix, and then you should be able to adjust the separation between the two lenses from that. If it can do it from a still picture, from a flat picture.
Oh, I mean, only if they had programmed that capability into it. In
Right.
other words, if you gave it two pictures, how would you give it to it? In other
Well,
words,
I'm not suggesting that Leopix as it stands now could do it. I'm saying that theoretically, whatever they're doing, you should be able to take two pictures, but I guess that didn't occur to them. But since the lenses on the LumaPad are kind of close together, it would really be a good thing for them to do. It's doable. I can tell you.
I agree it's doable, but an alternative would be to create a depth map and then just use Stereo Photo Maker with the depth map.
Peter, are you aware of any conversion apps that have that feature that will take a stereo pair and adjust the parallax?
No, I mean, one of my big questions on my presentation is, does anyone know of a good way to do grayscale maps from stereo pairs? Ironically, it's almost easier from flat pictures. You would think a stereo pair has depth information already.
Yeah, there is. Hugo Caputo, the guy who makes DMAG, that sort of what Stereo Photo Maker is based on, he's had that for years.
I tried his, I followed his tutorial and I couldn't figure it out, really, to tell you the truth. But that's okay.
I think there's somebody else who has something that's using stereo pairs.
Okay. If you find it or think of it, if you could, when we do the presentation on Thursday, maybe you can just shove it in a chat line or something.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jay.
Yeah,
I wonder if some of the photogrammetry tools would have some capabilities along those lines. Some capability along those lines.
I would imagine there's probably something out there with all of the tools that are being developed right now. There might be one out there that we just haven't come across yet. This is a very interesting question. This might be the kind of thing where, we know that there's demand for this kind of tool. We need this kind of tool, but that might not be what the developers of these conversion apps are really thinking of. So this might be the kind of thing where if we make enough noise about it, we might be able to influence the marketplaces.
A good start would be to pose the question to Photo 3D. There are a lot more people on Photo 3D than there are at this meeting tonight.
And there's some really smart people on that Photo 3D discussion group too. Let's continue this conversation on Thursday. Again, on Thursday is our 3D conversion workshop. I've already sung the praises of Peter Sinclair, who's going to walk us through. He is an enthusiast, not an expert. None of us are experts here, but I came away with a lot of new knowledge after our dry run over the weekend. So you're not going to want to miss it. And that said, let's look at this photo, which is definitely not a conversion. And speaking of wildflowers, that's the subject of this one. This is also in Point Richmond. There are hiking trails in the hills that run parallel to the water, and the title of this is the title of the trail. This is Crest Trail View. And I was out specifically to admire the wildflowers. I'm sure, as I said, next month this is going to be a completely different, a much more brown scene.
Yeah, I really like the coloring in the sky going from blue to white. It really makes the fence stand out. I was thinking that it might be a better composition if you cropped top and bottom.
I could try that. The day before I took this photo, there was some really interesting clouds in the sky. That was after that. Oh, no. I'm getting ahead of myself. But there were some very interesting clouds in the sky that I missed. I'll actually tell a story, not to dominate the discussion, but I went to Point Richmond with my cameras specifically to take these photos on Saturday and Sunday. And on Saturday, I was in kind of a bad mood, and I hadn't really eaten well, and I kind of wandered around, and I couldn't see anything, and I got fed up, and I went home, and I didn't have any photos worth sharing. And then I went back to the exact same place the next day after a night's sleep and after a big breakfast, and I came home with like half a dozen photos that I love. So it just goes to show that your state of mind really plays a big role in the kind of photos that you take home with you. And this isn't a masterpiece by any means, but I'm glad I was up there to take it. I'll try that, Steve. Thank you. And speaking of Steve, here's one by you. The title is Lotta Lights.
Yeah, this is a display at a place called Madcap Hotel, or Madcap Motel. It's in Los Angeles. And it's just one of things that are cropping up. I guess they're in the same category as escape rooms. That's not really an escape room, but you go from room to room and make discoveries. There's a similar thing in Las Vegas called Wolf Cat or something like that. Area 15, I think, is part of it is. But anyway, so this is just a bunch of lamps. They have a couple of sort of 3D displays there, but it was not lit up enough so I could capture it.
Seems to have made you lightheaded.
Yeah.
So it looks
anyway.
like we're seeing multiple reflections of, I think that's you taking the photo.
That is me. You can see me at the far left, at the bottom. My flash going off, and yeah, it's a mirror room, like a hall of mirrors.
Like Lady from Shanghai.
Exactly.
That's
He used a lot of
right.
split screen in that too, but yeah, a very effective scene.
So I'm viewing this as I've got our Anaglyph stream up. I've got our side-by-side stream running on my loom pad. And then I have our full width side-by-side on the Zoom screen share. And this looks quite good with my beam splitter for the full width side-by-side. But just the nature of this photo, the loom pad and the Anaglyph really have a hard time with it.
Oh,
It's
I
not
think
a
you can
flaw in the
also see
photo.
me
It's a
in the
flaw in
middle of the
display.
screen from the back. You can see me holding up the camera a little above my head.
And it looks like are you shooting with a flash? Is that a flash that I see? Or is that
I
like a
believe I am
lamp?
shooting with a flash. I think I shot several ways because it's a very dark room. And it's just, so the flash becomes like a fill light. So it's not so much that it washes out the lamps, but it gives you a little more definition. It's always a case where there's certain elements to the one without the flash that you think are great, and then other elements of the one with the flash, and you can't really mix them.
Yeah. You could even, this one could almost work if you were to rotate it 180 degrees. They would be more like flowers, like tulips.
Oh,
rising
so
out
they
of the
look like
floor.
flower pots?
If you were to turn this one upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Mouse to try.
All right, thank you, Steve.
Thanks, everyone.
And this has got to be with your W3, right?
Yep, W3. There, you can, if you look really close, you can see it. Like I said, the silhouette of me and the sort of in the center of the frame. You can see by the distance of my hands that I'm holding something about that big.
Yeah. We could zoom in and enhance, and
right in
you
the
see
movies, they
the
can
little
always do
auto
that.
stereo screen behind it.
They
Probably
can
not.
zoom in and then you can read the label.
Well, they do it in the movies.
That's what I just said. It's in the movie.
All right, thanks,
It
Steve.
turns out we didn't know it when we saw those, years ago, but with AI, they can actually do that.
Yes. Oleg, here's one by you. This is coming up. The title is Marin Library, Newspaper Cove.
Yeah, I took this same picture a year ago. And the reason I took it again was there was a beautiful purple blossoms. But this is a wide angle shot, so they're so small you don't notice them. But
You're
those
speaking
two
of the-
guys were there a year ago. I guess they go there every day.
They never left.
I actually thought this was a resubmission because I thought I recognized it.
Yeah, I thought this was the same picture. I remembered you submitting this before.
Yeah, no, it's the same guys 1 year later.
That's
But
amazing.
you ought to go back and check if the clock is the same time.
Are they reading the same newspapers after a year too?
Right. Well, I noticed those blossoms through the window. Did you brighten those up or enhance those?
I did as much as I could.
Yeah, I
But again,
noticed them right away.
I'm using my super wide angles, so they're much smaller than you see with your naked eye on the picture.
It's nice also being able to look through the window and see that that landscape outside.
Well, that's what really attracted me to the
Yeah.
shot.
It's an effective background, and you've got a sort of a nice. Well, I guess those blossoms, they make your middle ground, and you have your foreground readers.
This would have been a good entry. I've used it up, but for that, we have another special coming up. It's not mirroring. It's got a different word.
Could that be? Let me look that up. What do we have coming up here?
I think it's next time.
Let me look at our special subject, symmetry. Yes, that must be it. Would it be the symmetry special we've got coming up in June?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, there you go.
This would have been perfect for it.
It will be perfect. You can still enter it. I mean, I know with you, I don't think it's a problem coming up with original stereo photography for our exhibitions. So you probably have 4 excellent symmetry compositions in the works, but we'd enjoy seeing this one again.
I love the geometry of this one. All the circles and ovals, squares, very postmodern.
Herb, isn't the Cascade Club having a geometric special subject at your next meeting?
I believe we are, yes.
Well, there you go, Oleg. You've got a whole different audience waiting to see this in the geometric special category for the Cascade Club. They meet, it's the 4th Monday of each month when we used to meet, so you might even have the time free.
The invitation always goes out on Photo 3D, so look for it there.
Yeah.
Or you can find it on the website, 3dpdx.org.
And I'll put that in the chat. 3dpdx.org. Speaking of the chat, Jay has shared some information. I've got some links about some 3D processing. A couple of YouTube links. These look very interesting. Plus some information about cow vision. And Jay, I'll read what you've posted here. Cows have what is referred to as panoramic vision. This means they can see things in all directions without moving their heads. They have 300-degree vision, but cows have poor depth perception. So thank you, Jay. That solves that mystery. The loom pad, they would not be impressed with the loom pad. I don't think the eye tracking cameras would be able to pick them up anyway. All right, thank you, Oleg. Steve, we have one by you coming up next. Nature Area Fence is the title.
Yeah, this is the one I referred to earlier. that also I manipulated the dark shadows. Everything that wasn't sky was a lot darker. Pretty much what you did, Matt, on that. I don't know if it was a bar or restaurant, but inside, because it was dark, and then I don't know if I don't think the does the W3 have a raw? Can you generate a raw?
I don't think so.
But they have a thing called a raw adjustment in Affinity, which is a little bit more effective than just the light and shadow controls. So I was able to get some more detail in the fence and the pipe. And this is the same walk. This is little a different section of the trail in the nature area. But yeah, it was a W3.
I think the thing with the W3 and the camera raw filter in Affinity or Photoshop or whatever you're using is that the W3 sensors are really tiny, comparatively tiny. I forget exactly what size they are. And that actually has a lot of some benefits for stereo photography. You could capture deeper focus with those small sensors, but they just don't capture as much information, so there isn't as much hiding in those dark areas to pull out of with like shadow highlights as there is, with like a photo taken from a DSLR or something like that. So there's something in there. You were able to pull a lot of information out, but that was probably everything.
Yeah. Well, I think it looks better than it did before.
Yeah. That foreground post is right in my lap.
Is that too much?
It's on the loom pad. It's
through the window.
It's very, very up front. Yeah, I'd try to push that back a little bit. I don't know if you could push it all the way back, but you could maybe push it back a little bit and do a false frame or something like that.
I'm sure I could go into Stereo Photo Maker and make some adjustments.
Yeah.
This one might be worth going back into.
Yeah, changing it to be at the window really improves it and looks good that way.
Okay, cool.
Let me see if I can do that. I'm going to try this on all three streams, so... Well, actually, I might blow something up. I need to practice that before I actually perform it, so we'll just take Jay's word. Thank you, Jay. I think
you could probably, since there's such a dark shadow area in there on the fence, you could probably cut out the right image maybe and just move it to the right a bit. Just kind of fake it with a cut and paste.
I was thinking of that, but it's a wire fence. What do they call it? I got the word for that, but chain link. It's a chain link fence. So that would be a little bit messy. I guess I could separate it from the fence itself, so the post was actually in a different spot relative to the chain link.
Well, the chain link kind of meshes together right where it transitions into the reddish color there.
Yeah.
So you might be able to grab that, and if you scoot it over, you're just going to be reproducing that same dark shadow area. So you might get away with it or do a skewing.
Yeah, well, the
Doesn't
first
need
thing-
a lot.
that's,
Just a little
yeah,
bit.
it did occur to me that I could probably move it. Actually, now that I look at it, you're right. I might be able to do a soft edge and move even part of the fence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can tell it's gonna be a couple hours of work if I do it that way. So I'll try a Stereophoto Maker first. If I go back into that, I think I'm gonna go back into it, and then I just don't have the motivation to do it. I just want to go to something new. But I appreciate all the suggestions, and I would like to get this picture looking good.
Well,
You could just do a mirror image, taking the right in Stereophoto Maker and flipping it into the left. Because that path would make a nice convergence.
You could
Well,
even
I
enter that in
don't know if I can
our,
see. I definitely can't see that.
well, that could be an entry in our symmetry special.
Yeah.
Right. If you just divide it right at that center post.
So, like, use the mirroring feature in Stereophoto Maker.
Yeah, I would just highlight the right half of the shot and then go into that resize horizontal mirroring and see what you get. I think it would be kind of cool because they would all converge on that center post and then the two paths would be going off in either direction. I don't know. It's just something to try, although I really like the contrast of the dark and the light on this one.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I think that's a very creative idea. I'd love to see that.
Or clone out the bottom of that blue post and have it floating out in space towards us.
That would make
Probably
it real
won't
coming
do
at
that.
you. Well, I've written a note to myself. I did add a button on my my Stream Deck here to auto align the photos in the various live streams and stream shares that we've got going on. But what I really need to do is add an easy adjustment button so that we can play with that positioning of these elements. So I will work on that for next time. All right, thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Yeah, keep working on this one. This one is mine. Happy Buddha Tableau is the title. This is another Point Richmond shot. Let's see, the fire station was on one corner and the up and under the pub was just down the block from it, and across the street from the up and under on the other side of the street, on the opposite corner, was this this display here. I was there when I was there on Sunday. I think it was Point Richmond's annual junk sale. So I think this is some junk that was for sale, and I thought it was a nice subject.
I like the busyness of the scene, which all makes sense together, even though it's very busy. Full of little gaps, seeing things through them. It works very well there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, there's a lot to look at in this one. And I like the way it has some elements actually sort of leaning out through the window without intersecting that that border. Okay. We've got one more for this evening, but we're not done after that. Two things I'm going to say before I show this. This is Jack's. The title is Big Spider, so any arachnophobes, I suggest you look away or be prepared. Let me pull that up. This is Big Spider. Jack, I think we know who is in this and what the subject is, but tell us a little bit about how you made it.
Well, this is some kind of a silly one. I enjoyed playing with it. This was a close-up of a spider that I'd taken, and he didn't bite too hard down into my skull, so it didn't bother me too much. But I only used about a third of the original picture. It's a little bit of a strain to see, but I thought it was funny.
It's got some humor in it. Jack, I wasn't able to show your third entry, General's Table. It just had too much disparity. I wasn't able to adjust it in any way to make it work without ripping our eyes out of the sockets.
Yeah, I understand that. I debated whether to send that one in or not, but I had to shoot that through the window to get the picture, and it was far too much separation, but I only had a couple of choices where I could shoot the camera through the window, so I should have not even sent that one in.
Well, it was worth a shot. I just had to pull it, unfortunately. So
yeah,
try again next
no problem.
time.
Well, you can always see the spider on the web anyway if you have to see.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
There was some little anomaly in your hat. Maybe it's something naturally occurring, but I was getting a little retinal rivalry just in the edge of the hat.
Yeah, I recreated a little bit of the hat so that his fangs looked like they were coming down into it. So I probably didn't do it.
Well, you know, where the spider touches the hat is really convincing. I mean, it looks like he's on the hat.
Yeah.
It's just the part that's sort of hanging over your glasses. It's different.
I don't think I did anything to that.
Yeah, like I said, it could be
on the
natural
left
occurrence.
side. Okay.
Yeah, on the left side.
Yeah, it looks kind of strange. All right.
I don't know how much room you have, but it feels like it's cropped really tight. If you have any more room, I would widen it. Especially because I think it looks like his legs are coming through the window, so you don't want the frame to cut that off.
Yeah, it looks like what happened is it's just in the right image, the brim of the hat got slightly cropped. In the left image, it looks like the brim is intact. So that's causing this bit of retinal rivalry that.
Yeah, I can see that. I think I trimmed that whole thing off, and it should have trimmed a little bit more off on that one side.
Yeah, I'm sure you have the missing pixels somewhere if you wanted to fix that. I know we've seen this portrait of you before as well. So
it was something was attacking me in the original. I can't remember. It's funny when I look at this in this projection of it, the hat on the right side is there big separation there.
There is, yeah.
But I never saw that when I was working on it. I don't know why it's showing like that now.
Is this picture from a video? The picture of you from video?
No, neither one are.
has kind of a lack of detail that's like the opposite of the spider.
Yeah.
I
Well,
would say take another picture of yourself, or you can go in with these AI programs and take a picture like this, and it will actually sharpen it up. It will find details that aren't there. It will make some assumptions, and pretty amazing what it can do. But probably better to just take, because it really is soft.
the first picture was obviously a microscopic shot with great detail, and the bottom picture, me, was a long range shot that never had the same depth to it. So that's one of the problems there.
Yes, just a thought.
Yeah,
But-
Steve said there's
But
actually
you got
a
a
lot that
feeling
works
for
in
how
this
much
one.
the spider was enjoying himself anyway.
And you're not.
No. I put a lot more work into this one than it was worth. There's no doubt about that.
Well, as Steve said,
I think it's worth it. It's a great picture and right out of a horror movie. It's wonderful.
Yeah, well, Jack, I think we've all been there.
Yeah. It just turned out to be more difficult than I thought when I started.
Yeah.
Well, just to support what Steve said, I think the real successful part of this is that interface where the spider is touching your hat.
Yeah, I worked pretty hard on that part.
Yeah, I think that was very successful, and that's with all those little hairs and everything, that must have been a challenge. But
It was, yeah.
it looks natural considering how fantastic the subject actually is.
Yeah, that kind of contact is hard to do in 2D and near impossible in 3D. So good job on that one.
Yeah, very nice, Jack. Keep it up. All right. That concludes our slideshow, but as I said, we're not done yet. Let's do our weekly poll and pick our favorites. Again, this isn't really a competition. We're not looking for winners or losers, but everyone wants to know, how their photos did. I'm putting a link in the chat. We're using a new poll service. We were using straw poll. I'm trying something else different tonight. Tonight's kind of the dry run. And one advantage of it is that it works really well on phones and tablets, which is how I'm doing the competition tonight. So if you see our conclusion slide here, there's also a link that you can type into a computer or a web browser. And there's also a QR code that you can use with your smartphone or tablet's camera to get you to the same thing.
Or you can do it right in Zoom.
Or, yes, as Herb is already figured out, one advantage of this is that you can optionally install an app in Zoom, install this as an app, so you can vote right from Zoom. And I'm trying that too, and it seems to be working pretty well.
So there's no button to actually submit the vote. So can you tell whether my vote is in? Because it shows I've selected 3 things, but there's nothing to actually say send the vote in.
Good question. We will find out in just a moment when I try to pull up the results, which I actually haven't tried yet. So I'll have an answer for you. Let's take a minute or two here and let everyone who wants to participate make their selections. This is optional. You're not obligated to.
Are you going to review the pictures?
Yeah.
I will. Thank you, Steve. Yes. Let's go through the slideshow. I'll go through the photos again. I'll spend just 3 or 4 seconds on them each to refresh our memories. I'll also say the titles. And just again, if you're following along on one of our YouTube streams, there'll be a lag of 10 or 20 seconds or so. All right, so this is our welcome slide. We'll start off with Jay's Swing. Next is by Oleg, Kite Festival at Santa Barbara. Steve has Nature Area Sunset. Matt has Richmond Fire Station #1. From Jack, this is Succulent Garden. Oleg, Arizona Desert at the Hillview Estates. Up and Under by Matt. Passengers by Jay. Baseball at Simi Valley by Oleg. Moo by Jay. Crestview Trail by Matt. Lotta Lights by Steve. Marin Library Newspaper Cove by Oleg. Nature Area Fence by Steve. Happy Buddha Tableau by Matt. And Big Spider by Jack. Did everyone have a chance to get those? Do we need to go through those again? Sounds like we've got it.
I'm trying to vote here. It's asking for presenter's username and not accepting mine or my aliases.
Yeah, you shouldn't need to put in your name. Which link
I'll
did you try?
It needs that field, apparently.
Okay. I didn't get that.
Maybe it needs who's presenting it. Are you presenting it? Maybe we just put in your name.
I got that message and just put Matt's name in at the end.
Okay, let me try that.
Okay,
Yeah, I noticed Matt had put in a username at the end of the link, and so I put that in.
Yeah, that's what I did too. How do you vote once you've picked the 3 things you like? Do you click a submit or anything?
Anything there. There's no submit button. So let me spend a minute here and see how I can show the results.
It doesn't like Matt Bergman either.
We'll try putting in your name.
I did. That didn't work.
Okay.
No, try the Matt. It's got a number after it, but it's right where the link is. Look back in the chat, and you can see Matt has a name, his username. Just do the copy and paste.
All right, let me go back to Zoom. Here we go. Whoops. Dismiss. I don't want to get out of here. Done. Okay, and it is.
Matt Bergman 065.
There we go. All one word. Okay.
Now, thank you. That's been made clear. Yes.
And with one T in Matt.
065. Right.
Matt Bergman 065.
All right.
Yes.
Let's try this. That Bergman, what's the number? 065?
065. That link is in the chat also
Yeah,
if you can't remember.
that's got it. Okay.
Great. Okay. You, Robert, you are my test subject here. This is the first time I've used this, so thank you for taking some abuse while we
No,
figure
that's
all this
fine.
out. Now,
Yeah,
I need
so
to figure out how to
I
share
have
the
my
results.
3 votes, and it tells me that I've used my 3 votes, but there doesn't seem to be any way to submit it. So the question is whether you see my results.
And I will have that answer for you as soon as I figure out how to pull up the results. So let's see.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
well,
I don't see any way for me to see the results.
No, it's something that I would have to share
Right.
on my screen here. So
so how do we get these to you?
So just make your 3 selections.
Did that.
And I will confirm in a moment that if they went through.
I didn't see anything to actually send them. Is the question.
Just make your selections and wait a moment. I'm pulling up the results
Okay.
to see if they went through. This will just take a moment. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Yeah, how do I show the results? Maybe I'll have to send them out tonight. Let's see. Reports. No, that's not it.
You mean the election's been fixed?
All right, I will figure this out. But I may need to actually send these out later, just because I haven't gotten this far with this thing yet. Let's see. No, that's not what I want. Responses. Here we go. Okay. Okay, I'm on to something here. Okay, I have our responses. And I am going to share the responses on my screen. Thank you for your patience while I figure this out. Let me share another screen here. You'll have to look at my face for a second while I set this up.
So I don't have to respond as George Santos or anything.
So yes, this is a bit confusing. There's no submit button to click. Just make your 3 selections, and then you can close the window, and it has accepted them.
All right.
Okay.
So if you're following along with me on my screen, I think I am sharing the results.
You are.
Great. Okay. And I think there's got to be a way to for you to pull this up in your web browser as well. But before I figure that out, it looks like Jay's Passengers was our leader tonight with 25%. This isn't a very scientific result. This is a pretty small group. Nor is this telling me exactly how many votes each one got, but the numbers don't lie. Jay, that was, let's see. Yeah, Jay, 25% with Passengers, followed by my Up and Under. Thank you very much. Steve's Nature Area Sunset. Looks like it tied for second with 17% of the vote each. Jay's Swing took, that would be fourth, I guess. I'll have to figure out how to sort this and make this a little more comprehensible. But let me see if I can't share this as a link with everyone. There's got to be a way. Let's try this. Peter, good morning. Good evening. If you haven't already left us, I think you just slipped out. I just put a link in the chat, and no, that doesn't. Yeah, that does give us the results. Okay, so you might want to give that a try also. I will see if I can finesse these results. But there you have it. I'm pleased because it didn't totally explode.
I'm just seeing a blank window when I opened up your link.
Mine says activity not found.
Yeah, mine says activity not found.
Okay.
Window is blank.
Let me try that one more time. I'm sure there's a way to share these results. I just haven't done that yet. All right, so I'll share this one more time just so we can see it. And what I'll try to do as I figure this out is I'll learn to generate some reports that maybe I can post or share after the meeting as well.
Just out of curiosity, is there some reason you decided to use this rather than the other poll? Is it just because it works better on a phone?
The two reasons are it works, it's sort of designed for the phone, although straw poll works okay on the phone too. What I really like about this, the potential of this, is the ability to do it from directly inside Zoom.
Okay.
Without having to go to a separate web browser or a
I mean, that's a nice feature. I was just wondering what made you.
That's what I was thinking. That was sort of my goal with this experiment here.
So it would be useful to actually know how many votes you actually received or how many people participated. It made us enter our name, but you can't tell who responded, I guess.
Yeah. I think anonymity is okay.
No, I'm not complaining. I'm just, so it wouldn't have mattered if I put in Herb or guess who.
Right. I agree, though. I do want to see the number of votes per photo, which is what straw poll gave us.
I also like that you could sort it so that the largest number came up. I think that's the way the other one did.
Yeah, that's how straw poll is by default. It sorts it by ranking, so we know exactly who came out on top.
The pie chart was kind of nice too.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to poke around with this some more, but I think maybe we'll go back to the straw poll, just because I think the results might be a little more legible, a little more useful. And also,
Matt, down at the bottom, it says share not enabled. So maybe you can click on that and enable sharing. See right at the bottom?
Let's see, right at the bottom.
No, you clicked on it. You had clicked on a tab that said share.
There's the share and embed, yes. But these aren't actually for the results. Let's see, how's this? Oh, here we go. What's this? response history. Okay, now this is a little more informative. We don't have that that pie chart, but we do have a count. And wow, we had a lot of responses. That's actually, you know what? Divide these responses by 3 because each one of us made 3 selections. So we didn't actually have 24 people participating tonight. We had 7 people participating tonight. Okay, so that is interesting. Here we have the breakdown by name, so we can actually see who liked what.
Well, that's useful so I can tell that I actually did respond.
Yeah, I do see your name here, Herb, so I won't spend too much time on this. I don't want to dwell on that. And it looks like, okay, it looks like I can actually do some real reporting. I can probably generate a pie chart in Excel with this comma separated value. I know I'm kind of getting technical and a little bit in the weeds here. This isn't about stereo photography. And if I upgrade, I can probably get some fancy charts as well. Okay. So I think the real issue with this, maybe for our next meeting, we will be using straw poll. Maybe we'll try this again. I need to explore the results and see if there isn't a better way of presenting these. So thank you for participating in this experiment. I do like having the QR code and the link up there, so we'll keep that. And I'll keep working on this.
I like that you could vote while you were looking at the slideshow.
I
And
like that too, because you can vote and then you can undo your vote if you see a better one.
And I also, the screen that you're showing right now is exactly what you were looking for. They're in order, and they show the number of votes. So this
is that right?
Except that it's not in color and doesn't have the pie chart, which doesn't really matter to me. This is really all you need, I think.
Is there a way that they can show a little thumbnail after the description, just to sort of a picture?
I think that there is. They do have an option to include a photo with the with each row. So that's something I can try. I didn't try that. It would be, I think it would be easy enough to give that a try for our next meeting next week.
Do the icons at the left side of the screen do anything, or are those browser related?
These are are you referring to the screen that I'm sharing right now?
Yes.
These
yes.
These things right here. Yeah, these are the things that I need to explore. Some of these are more upsells for premium features that I'm not paying for. I might consider paying for this. It's actually pretty inexpensive. Right now, I'm using the free version just to see how it worked. So yeah, most of this is stuff that hasn't been enabled for us yet. So yeah, that's actually a good point. It's possible that with the paid version, which I'm considering signing up for, we would get better results that are sorted and might even have graphs and whatnot. So I need to do some work here, but whether we use this or whether we use straw poll or something else, I do like having these polls. I want the meetings to be a little more interactive, a little bit more fun. So I'm going to keep working on this, and we'll see where this leads us. Does anyone else have any thoughts about tonight's competition, about how we did it?
I noticed you couldn't place your vote in order, as it were, first preference, second preference, third preference. It was just 3 votes.
Yeah. I think we're not, I don't think straw poll worked that way either. We used to have that feature with our original competition software. But, you know, when there's like 10 people voting for 25 photos, it doesn't really benefit from being that granular. And again, I kind of just want this to give us a general sense of what people liked more and liked less, rather than picking out winners and losers. Keep this a little less defined.
For Herb's comment, I did notice that when you voted for something, to the right-hand side of that horizontal line, there was a icon of a trash can, which tells me you could rescind your vote and place it elsewhere.
Yeah,
That's
I
correct.
actually tried that. You can click on it and take your vote back, and then click on the same thing again to vote for it again.
Got it.
Yes, it does work that way.
Yeah, I did that too. Same here.
All right. Well, this is great information. Thank you for being my guinea pigs tonight. I still think there's potential for this, so I'm going to work on this. I think we'll try it again next week, and see if I can make this a little less confusing. If there's still confusion, we'll just switch back to straw poll. That won't be a problem. Good. We are at 9 o'clock. Well, in a couple minutes. We're a little bit early. We have 2 upcoming meetings in the next week. I want to remind everyone about our stereo conversion workshop, which is on Thursday, the 9th, 2 days from now, and I have some notes about that. It is, yes, Thursday night. Peter Sinclair will be walking us through his 3D conversion workflow, starting with a 2D photo. He's going to be using Leapix, Stereo Photo Maker, and Photoshop. We had a rehearsal this weekend, and I learned way more than I have in the past 2 or 3 years, trying to wrap my head around this stuff. Peter, of course, like all of us, is an enthusiast, not an expert. He doesn't do this commercially. So it's going to be a very informative workshop, and bring your questions. I hope that everyone can make it. Our next regular meeting is next week, Tuesday, the 14th. Our special subject, that's our special subject meeting. Our special subject for next week is Google Earth. I've already received quite a few entries, which is very promising, and I will be accepting entries up until next Sunday, the 12th, if you haven't submitted them already. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, this is a creative, you could call it, competition using Google Earth or Google Maps to make virtual cha-chas of 3D landscapes, format them as a side-by-side, and submit them for viewing. We've done this, I think, once a year for quite a few years now, and it's always amazing what we discover. That's all I have. Does anyone have anything they would like to add before I hopefully see everyone on Zoom on Thursday? All right. Well, I'll be sending out reminders for Thursday's meeting as well as Tuesday's meeting. And next week, we'll see where this competition software takes us. Until then, thanks for logging on, and I wish everyone a good night. See you later.
Thank you. Good night.
So long, all.